First of all, Coach, congratulations on all the successes that you've already had.
Thank you.
Earlier, Commissioner Phillips made the comment that this is a modernization era, maybe a reset moment for college football. Tell me about the 105 player limit and how that affects your practices and maybe that feel-good moment of the walk-on being able to earn a scholarship. Has that gone away?
Yeah, it changes. Obviously, there's a lot of new. 105, every school has a little bit of flexibility how they handle that. I think most are going to stick with the 85 scholarship and then have 20 walk-ons and feel it out, maybe, per se. At least that's what we're going to do. What it does is it obviously now, because of the grandfathering in, a lot of rosters may be at 115, 116 still this year. So it may be a year or two before we totally feel the tightness of the size. You know, I grew up when you only could take 105 to camp, and you could only have 105 until school started. And so it's not as drastic in terms of those things. Now, will we have to adjust how we practice? Yeah, I mean, it may go to more an NFL style model of a practice squad that is more good on good and all those things. Those are deals we can handle as coaches. I think I know Dabo's talked about this, the part you hate is there are former walk-ons who, I mean, I'm from Arkansas, Brandon Burlesworth's story is a great one. You know, we had guys like Tyler Levine at SMU who came in as a walk-on, earned a scholarship, became a team captain. You know, those feel-good moments may adjust because you're only going to have 20 if you stick with an 85 scholarship scenario. And of those 20, you know, some may still earn into that 85, but it's probably going to be harder to do so. So I get it to some degree, but also hate it for a lot of kids that are willing to pay for their school and be a part of the team. But it's like a lot of things. We don't create the rules. We just take what they give us and then do our best to go lead through it.
You take that next step of going from being in the ACC title game to winning it, or going from being a CFP team to winning a playoff game. Where does that improvement come from?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big step to take, right? Because it's hard enough to get there. So we first got to get back. I think, you know, I never once felt like the moment was too big for our guys. But, you know, especially in a championship game scenario, we've been there, but we hadn't been on that stage against an opponent like that. And then you go to the playoffs. You know, if we're in those environments again and we're fortunate enough to get back there, I think the experience of the program being there, you know, the old saying, act like you've been there before. It's hard to do it if you hadn't been there before. Now we've been there before. I think we took more confidence, believe it or not, out of it than anything. You know, as a team, we had a poor first quarter in the championship game. A few self-inflicted things, had some calls not go our way. That's part of the game. We got in the hole, 21-7. You can't do that in those stages. You got to hang in the fight early. Because the second through the fourth quarter, I think we proved in that day we were arguably the better team, but we dug such a hole. But our team came out of there with so much confidence and we belong. I mean, we kind of gave the game away there at the end, right? And then you go to the playoff. People that didn't watch the game see the score. Okay, I get it. Our defense played really well that day. Their tight end, who's a first-round pick, did nothing. Their backs didn't do much. Quarterback, didn't do, like, our defense played good enough to win a game 21-17 that day. Offensively, we moved the ball up and down the field. We threw 2 pick sixes. We had the ball inside the 10 4 times, scored 3 points. If you do that, you're going to lose to anybody on your schedule. So we didn't. The rule number 1 in football, and we've done a good job of this, is you got to make yourself hard to beat. We didn't do that. But we didn't come out of that game feeling like we didn't belong, and that we physically didn't belong. We actually came out of those 2 games feeling more confident. No, we belong. We just, the margin of error is a lot slimmer in those moments, and we got to make sure we put our best foot forward in those moments.
Hey, Rhett, last week you implied that schools are already breaking the rules that have been in place for all of 3 weeks.
Didn't imply that they are, that they will.
Okay, all right, that they will. That's a big distinction, and it matters.
But I'm sure they are.
Okay. Do we know they are? Are we just implying that they are?
Here's the deal. For years in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, like, things are going on, right? It doesn't matter what the rules are. Now we have a cap. All my point is, whatever the rules are, there's always going to be some schools or some places that try to find ways to get around. That's never going to change. So I am 100% confident someone's going to try to do those things. The key is, if this thing's real, if the CSC is real, if the House settlement's real, if the cap is real, if NIL Go is real, are we going to hold people to that standard? And it's real simple. It's like disciplining your kids. If you tell them not to do something or I'll do this, and they do it, and you discipline them, guess what? They don't do it anymore. But if you don't discipline them, then they're going to keep doing it. So if these are the rules, let's all play by it, and then let's hold people accountable to it, any of us. And if we do that, I think we'll create a lot more consistency in our game, which in the long run will be best for everybody. If we don't, then they'll continue to do whatever that is. But we've been planning since January to be under the cap. That's the way we're going to do things at SMU. We're going to take whatever the rules are, we're going to press them as far as we can within the rules to be competitive and to win. But that's where it'll stop for us.
Who do you expect to impose the punishments, if there are punishments to be doled out?
People that are we have a CEO of the CSC, and we have NIL Go and Deloitte, and we have we have a cap management plan, we have an NIL plan. If we do those things, that's a start. I said in there, we still need massive congressional help. I think we're getting closer. Craig Bowl of the AFCA has been spearheading that with Congress. He is the one that has made that an issue and has not let it leave. And now the SCORE Act has a chance. And so, whether it's agency reform and agency regulation is huge for these kids. They're getting taken advantage of at an all-time high, and that's why you see a lot of the misinformation and kids changing for no reason, because people can charge them 20-25%, and they're not even real agents. Let's let the real agents who are registered and qualified and do it the right way represent these kids and have a cap. The NFL and NBA are 3 to 5%. Why would we be any but we're new to it. And so I think that's important. So some of the things that the government and congressional help can give us across state lines would also, I think, help tighten those things up for us.
Do you support the guidance? Do you support the guidance from the CSC about legitimate NIL versus what's been happening previously?
Well, I do, because NIL, name, image, and likeness, is what was intended. They're trying to make sure that's what it is. Look, guys, Coca-Cola is not calling a player, many players, and giving them $100,000 deals. They're just not doing it. Like, the average NFL player doesn't get that for his deals. He gets $10,000 on appearance or whatever. We're just trying to make it the real world, because here's the thing, people, we want these guys to make money. We want them to get all they can get. But we also want to prepare them for the real world, because 99.5% of these guys are not going to play in the NFL or not see a second contract. And if we've created this as the expectation for life, what's going to happen when they're 27 and someone offers a $70,000 job with benefits and they what? It's a heck of a deal, right? No. What are we setting them up for? That's the fear, I think, long term, is there's a small percentage that could become their norm, but not many. And the system is not long-term good for the kids. Maybe short-term, but not long-term. So how do we balance and still get them what they want and deserve now, but prepare them for the rest of their life?
What's your preferred playoff model? Everybody's talking about it. There's a lot of talk about conferences getting multiple AQs.
Yeah.
Where do you land on that, and what would be your preferred?
It's tough, right? There's a lot of moving parts. Here's the biggest challenge. You got 4 conferences. We're one of them. You got tons of head football coaches. And we're all competitive, and we all look at it from the lens of what's best for our conference, what's best for our school. It's competitive. So when you have the people that are competing against each other making decisions, no shock we can't all figure it out together. I think our commissioner is the best at wanting the best for the ACC and its member institutions, but still caring about the players and the good of the game and what's best for the game, and that's a hard line to follow. As long as we got a group that can't get in a room and decide on a playoff model, then why are we going to have a group get in a room and decide off who should be in the playoffs? There's human error involved. In the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball, the World Cup, all high school football across America, there's no committees that pick who's in. It's earned on the field. There's some intricacies to college football because there's 130-something teams, right? 16 is a good number because it doesn't add a week to the playoffs from what we just did. It's just nobody gets a bye, and they don't need a bye. 8 on-campus games would be phenomenal. 16 teams means even 4 more teams get access. Well, we saw what 8 more teams getting access did for the game this year. It was fantastic. Okay, so 16 I think is an easy, good number that makes sense. It's a cleaner number than 12 or 14 anyways. It allows the on-campus and the neutral sides. Again, I said it. The committee let us in last year. I'm thankful for that. Coaches shouldn't be politicking to get in. Commissioners shouldn't be politicking to get in. Politics has nothing to do with performance and getting in. In the NFL, nobody's ever politicking to get in the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? So let's earn it on the field. Well, how do we do that? We start talking about automatic qualifiers. Well, I hear, this league and this league should get 4, and we shouldn't get 2, and the Big 12 get 2 because We almost double their revenue. They haven't won a national title. A school that's currently in that league hasn't won a national title since 1990. You know, we've won just as many national titles in the last 15 years as the Big Ten, the ACC has. So like, it's hard to start like giving automatic qualifiers on projecting the future based on the past, in my opinion. Just look at NCAA tournament. The SEC a few years ago got 4 teams in. This year they broke a record. Well, if they were making the NCAA tournament this year on past history, they wouldn't have got 13 teams in this year. They got like 5, right? It's not competitive. It's not decided on the field. So 16 teams is great. The human committee, it's set up for failure. They're good people that do their best, but there's always going to be bias. There's always going to be issues. So let's settle it. If you want to give automatic, you try to make it as equal as you can. Give 4 to the SEC, 4 to the Big Ten. Give 4 to the ACC and Notre Dame. So we're going to either get 3 plus Notre Dame, or we're going to get 4 if they don't qualify in the top 16. Give 3 to the Big 12 and give 1 to the G5. And there's your 16 teams. Nobody's picking them, they're picking them. And think about if conference championship Saturday, you have the ACC championship game, the SEC championship game, the Big 10, the Big 12 championship game. But on that same day, you have in the ACC 3 versus 6 for a spot, 4 versus 5 for a spot. Same thing. It's a 16-team tournament that's probably more like 24, more fan bases, more players. It's about the players first, the fans second. And all that other stuff is people jockeying for a competitive position, and it's not their fault, it's their job. But it's not what's best for our game. So, like for me, I got to take my SMU hat off and say what's best for college football as a fan of college football, while still trying to do what's best for SMU. Commissioners have to do the same. I'm glad we have our commissioner who cares for the good of the game. But I think we should reimagine it, rethink it. Let's quit trying to stick it in the same square we've been in. Like, who wouldn't want that? That Saturday, the first Saturday in December, would be just like Thursday and Friday the NCAA basketball tournament, except for football.
What was your take?
With the new revenue sharing era, how did you approach how much you were going to pay each player on the team and kind of figuring that stuff out, just because this is uncertain?
Wow, it's a great question. It is. We're learning on the fly, like a lot of things the last 3 years in college football. So, our general manager and our team, we got NFL data for kind of what their percentages are for starting quarterback, tackle, all those things. So we started with that. We put the cap number that we're going to have to work with into that. And then, like in NFL, we get to decide, well, what's more important to us, a starting corner or a big-time D-line, or this or that, right? So we're kind of figuring out as we go. I mean, to some degree, it's capitalism that you get what you earn. So the guys that go out and play well are going to get more than the guys who haven't proven it yet. We do our best internally to take care of all our guys and make it about the team and just be honest and transparent. I think you heard some of our guys talk. We have great relationships with them. Doesn't mean they always agree with us, but we tell them the truth. Everybody on the team's not going to make the same. Fair doesn't always mean equal. You know what I mean? I've said it before, in Dallas, Dak Prescott's going to make the most on the team. So I don't think guys have a problem if the starting quarterback probably makes the most. That's the real world. But how do you, across other positions, make it reasonable, make it fair in relation to the industry, which hasn't really been set yet with a cap? We're all learning that. I think the second thing we do is we focus on retention over acquisition first. What I mean by that, when we got done last year, we lost a lot of good players, but we had some great remnants coming back on our team. P.J. Williams and Logan Parr and Kevin Jennings and R.J. Maryland, Matt Hibner and Cam Robertson, Alex Gore. I could go on and on, right? We're not going to be bringing in new players that are making a whole lot more than those guys who have already earned it here. And I think that's what helps us keep a good culture, is try to start with, let's retain first, and then whatever's left, let's go build the best team we can for those guys.
So is every player on the team making something?
No, I mean, it's a 105 roster limit now. Yeah, I don't know what our exact number is, but no. But that's also, but you know what? Every player on the team that's a scholarship player is, because they're getting a $400,000 scholarship to go to SMU. So,
What was your takeaway?
How do you put into words what last season meant to this program? I mean, moving up to the ACC, you're losing the TV revenue money, but you get it back by going to the conference, at least some of it. But I mean, and how it grew the program, and it's brought people, all the fundraising and everything. What last year meant to you?
It's hard to put into words. I think from my standpoint as the head coach and part of this, I would say it validated a lot of things for us. It validated, I think, that we belong. It validated all the support our donors and fans have given us, our administration, and the hard work to get back. I think for a lot of our fans that were around for the last 30, 40 years, it was almost vindication maybe. But I've said it before, you get one chance to make a good first impression. We were humbled to get to be in the league. We hoped when we got included in the league, it would be a win-win. We would add a ton of value to the league, but the league we knew was going to add a ton of value to us. And I think you look in year one to go out and everybody makes a big deal. We didn't pay a dime to get in the league. Everybody, you bought your way in. No, we just foregoed some things that we were never going to get in the first place. And then we went out and earned the second most in the league in year one. And so, which would have been more money we'd have got being in the league we were in. And so to have the support and the vision of our David Miller and our board members and our president and our ED to do that was special. And so to reward them so quickly with that was fun and validating. But I think our guys will tell you, like, I don't know if we expected to do that. We expected to compete. We expected to play well. I don't know if we will this year, but we expect to do it again. And we got to start all over again and do it. But it was validating, I think, just that what we all felt we believed internally, anyone associated with SMU, we were able to go do it. And then, you know, to have our school back on the national stage where we feel like we can and should belong was fun to be a part of.
Did you learn
Sort of national governance business, obviously the CSC, the NCAA, the CFP run college sports. I mean, just more broadly, like when you look at college football in general, like A, like what do you think needs to be done? B, what do you want to see from more broad,
I don't know who needs to be running it. That's someone will do that. That's not my job. I think we have a great sport, teacher of life, and we have a great game. Again, there's the NFL and there's college football, and then there's a bunch of other people in America. And I just think we need to reimagine how it's run, and we need to run it in a way that success and competition gives more access to everyone, but you got to go earn it. Instead of, look, if you're a blue blood, you want it to be as tight and small because then you'll just dominate. But that's not what's best for the game. That's not what's best for the players, for the fans, for all the conferences. And so that's why let's reimagine. Let's do like the worst reason to do anything is because that's how it's always been done before. But so often in life, that's why we do it. Well, that's how it's been done before. Let's not fear change. Let's be thoughtful, but like, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we give more opportunity and access, like every other major professional sport does, to have it decided on the field? And now you don't need a commit. Well, I think we should be. No, we're in because we made the championship game, or we're in because we won a play-in game on that Saturday, or we're not in because we didn't get done what we were supposed to get done. Everybody can live with that. It's when there's not equality of opportunity that we struggle.
What did you learn from that first year in the ACC?
You know, I learned, it had helped me personally. I've been in that league before, I've been in the SEC, so I kind of knew what we were getting into, but I think myself and our team and our staff and our program learned that it really is every week. In the ACC, you can't have an off week or you're going to get beat. It doesn't matter if you're playing at Clemson, and it doesn't matter if you're playing whoever that last place team is at home. If you have an off week, if you play like we did in the playoff game, you're probably going to lose. You know, I mean, look at our Duke game. That was a miracle we won. We went out and turned it over 6 times. We should have lost. And that was a good team. And so it's just a week in, week out. That's the league you want to be in. That's where you want to be. I mean, you look at our league, we had like 4 10-win teams, 2 playoff teams, a handful of 9-win teams, 13 bowl teams. I mean, there's just not a lot of easy wins on the schedule. And there's other leagues that claim depth. But like, the SEC's had the same 6 schools win the championship since 1964. Same 6. Not a single one has been different since 1964. It's top heavy to me. That's not. Yeah.
How do you feel about the injury reports? Is that something that the coaches have talked about? They want to do it, they don't want to do it?
I think as coaches, we were like, we don't need to do it because 1, it's just one less thing, one more thing we have to do, and 2, we're all just going to say questionable or whatever. But like, I get it. I know why the NFL does it. I know why we're trending that way in college. I don't think it's a huge deal. You know, our leadership thinks it's good for our league, and we're going to do it. And I don't think it's going to be a negative. We're going to be honest. We're going to tell the truth on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, and because there are times you don't know. You literally don't know until a guy goes through warm-ups and goes and plays the first play if he's going to be able to play. So that truly is a game-time decision. And so we'll adjust to it. they've asked us to do it. And I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
Coach, it was a huge accomplishment for you guys to be able to make it to the ACC championship. What was one of maybe the big difficulties that you faced in the Munster team, and what do you expect to kind of look forward to for your upcoming matchup?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is we're facing Dabo Swinney. I mean, he's the patriarch of ACC football, and I have tons of respect for him. He's actually become, in this league, someone I really respect, and one of my, I don't know if we have friends as coaches, but I really respect him, and we talk often. He reminds me that they beat us. But I also think, I mean, I vote in the coaches poll. They're going to be number one in my poll, and not just because I'm in this league. I think they're national championship level good this year, and they have everybody back from that team we played. Now, we're a different team, and they will be to some degree too, but I think we were facing a team that I think had won 8 championship games in a row by like an average of 24 points. It was down to a last-second field goal, and we played with a team that I think, with everybody back, is national title good this year. We were toe-to-toe with them. So I think it gives our program a lot of confidence. But going in, I mean, we knew, again, if you want to get into this league and you want to earn respect and you want to ever get to the top, you're going to have to go through the best, and they've been the standard the last decade.
Hey, Coach, last year I was standing at the ACC Championship in the tunnel when y'all were coming off at the first half. By the way, Jen Lewis, 3 Chicks in a Pod, just did media. Hi. And your players, when they were coming off the field, had this look of determination that if you're an athlete or a former athlete, you understand.
Yeah.
So 2 for question. What was said on the sideline before y'all came off through the tunnel? And then what was said during halftime?
Yeah.
Because I even went on Facebook Live and I was like, first half was not great for SMU.
No, it wasn't.
I was like, but be prepared, second half will be fire.
I like you.
I like you too.
I don't know what was said on the sidelines because I was getting in, but what I sensed in the first half and then walking off and into the locker room was frustration, because we felt like while we were playing a great team, like most of it was self-inflicted. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we started the game, we got a strip sack, they get a short field, they have 5 linemen downfield, they throw a touchdown pass, they don't throw a flag, that's life, 7-0. Then we turn it over again, or no, I'm sorry, a bad punt. We gave them the ball 3 times in the first quarter on our side of the field. They scored 21 points. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we had a 3rd and 10 that we're off the field, but we get a roughing the passer. Like, while we respected them, we didn't play that first half and feel like, man, we're up against an immovable object. We thought, no, we're not only as good as these guys, we can and we, in our opinion, should beat them, but we're down 24-7. Because we have just really self-inflicted things, and they've taken advantage of it. And so that was the feeling I got, and so we just said, hey, hold on. You guys all feel that. They agreed. It kind of acknowledged what they were all probably trying to process and feel. No, we belong in this game. We haven't proven that, but we do. They did 24-7.5. We could do 24-7.5. And our guys went out and basically did it, you know, until there was 16 seconds left. And so I think you just saw us settle in and play and stop beating ourselves. And I think you saw in that 4th quarter what Kevin and our guys can do. I mean, they really didn't move the ball on us in the second half. We moved it up and scored and did what we needed to do. We just didn't finish the last 16 seconds to get to overtime. But it also goes to, you can't dig a hole 21-7 against an opponent like that in a championship game.
Right.
You know? But I think that's what we felt, and that's what we said after.
Now, what are you guys doing this season to build off of the enthusiasm and excitement from last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new team. We got to stay humble and hungry. You know, we got to be confident in what we've done that got us there, and we got to continue to do those things. But we got to try to get better. We also got to understand that it's a new team, a new year. We got to start all over. We got to prove it all over again. Arguably with a harder schedule, and a new team. And I think we just can't be comfortable. We can't be complacent that we won 11 games and made the championship game. You know, we still feel like we could have done better, and it's going to be really hard to get back. But I know if we get comfortable and complacent, we won't. We got to stay hungry, and we got to have a mindset that we got to prove ourselves all over again.
Now, if you look at your locker room ago, this feels like a ACC title game type team again this year. This looks like it.
I'm always curious how y'all decide who gets the question when everybody starts loud enough. Eventually, everybody stops but one person, and you're all in unison. I do. Now, there's a lot of teams in this league that I think are capable of winning the league this year. So there's a lot of people that have that mindset. But I did feel this spring and summer, as we finish up our summer and off-season workout tomorrow morning, actually, that there's a level of player-led accountability on this team and a hunger that is good. It's not hype. It's not like fake. but it's also, there's a lot of confidence, there's quiet confidence, but it's like they know how hard it is to win a game, much less 11, and especially in this league, but there's a lot of confidence because we've done it. And they're doing a really good job of leading themselves and holding each other accountable to a high standard that we've kind of set for ourselves.
Coach, you have some staff on some coaching staff from Miami.
Yeah.
Came from Miami,
Yeah.
also players as well. They are coming to you this season. Is there anything personal coming out of that game?
There's nothing personal for me. I mean, a lot's going to get made of it. I think we've had 10 or 11 players in the last 3 years transfer. Most of them are off the roster now. We still have a few. It may be for them. Look, I have a ton of respect for Mario Cristobal and what he's doing there. I was in Miami for 2 years. To your point, 4 or 5 of our staff members. I mean, De'Aaron King was our quarterback there. We loved our time there. We loved the U, and we're happy with what we were able to offer for 2 years. And some of the players came over. Like, to me, they're a playoff championship contending team that comes to us for homecoming. You know, we've now entered a world where SMU gets in the playoff over Alabama and plays Miami for homecoming. That's a big deal for us. We hadn't been there in a while, right? So we're excited about the opportunity to play a championship caliber team, but November 1st is a long way away. So there's nothing personal for us. I think the personal thing for both sides would be hopefully that game means something, and we're both competing to get to Charlotte at that point.
Last year you said Isaiah Smith, who's from DC,
Yeah.
Baltimore, and all that stuff. So what type of player is he? I actually have him on the show. Is he a great, good player? So, you know,
Turbo's awesome. We call him Turbo, Isaiah Smith. And here's what's funny. I mean, a kid from DC came to SMU and stayed all 4 years, right? And I think 2 years ago he had like 3 sacks or something in the AAC championship game. This is now the American. And I thought last year was the first year he had put on the weight where he was an every down player. And so now you go into this 4th year, we're really excited about his every down production. And Turbo's been a lot of fun to watch him grow and develop, not only as a player but a person, and excited for his senior year. And I don't think he'll be done playing football after this season. Chris isn't in charge. What do you got?
Last year, you said you talked to Gus Malzahn about coming into a new league, moving up to power forward. Now Gus is in the league as offensive coordinator. How do you think he'll do back in that role, and how cool is it to see him?
I think he'll do really well because I think he's proven over his career when he focused on just calling offense, he's as good as we've ever had in our games. I think he's got a quarterback that similar to Nick Marshall and all fits what they can do there, and super talented. So, and it's Florida State. I mean, they had the players last year. We played them. So, Mike's a great coach. Gus is a great coach. I only hope we get to play him because that means we both made it to Charlotte. Thanks, guys. Chris is in charge.